Welcome to another episode of Let's Talk About Clutter. I'm your host, Margo, a professional organizer specializing in chronic clutter. And can we believe that 2024 is almost coming to an end? At the time I'm recording this podcast episode, it is the end of September and Halloween is just around the corner, followed by Thanksgiving. And then if you celebrate Christmas and New Year's and all that stuff, I find that fall is one of those times where the season just it flies by. So what better time than to talk about 24 things that you can declutter in 2024. Now, all of these things that I'm going to talk to you about today are quick, easy wins. So if you've ever found yourself surrounded by clutter, not sure where to begin, I get it. That overwhelming feeling, the frustration of wanting a tidy home but not knowing where to start. I too have been there. And the truth is, you don't have to start big. Decluttering any one of these 24 items will help you build confidence and momentum in the process. Each one of the items that I'm going to be talking about when it comes to decluttering will take you no more than 5 to 15 minutes. Every single one of us has 5 to 15 minutes to spare to feel accomplished, that we purged and we're making space in our homes. So let's jump right in. For a quick win, head over to your pantry. If you are someone who struggles to let go of any items, whether it's the sentimentalist personality type or you suffer from the just in case mentality, decluttering these things are super easy. You're going to take a peek at your pantry and you're going to start by decluttering all expired items. I am a decluttering coach. I work with women, incredible women, actually all around the world. And I will have some of my clients will begin working with me and they will tell me, Margo, I have a hard time letting go of anything. I've tried and I suffer from regret and fear. And did I make a mistake? You know where we start? We start in the pantry. And the reason for that is because if an item, a food item, is expired, it is an easy toss. And you might be thinking, okay, well, how many items can I possibly toss? But what you will realize is that decluttering is a habit that you build. Decluttering is a muscle that you build. And the more you declutter, the more it becomes easier to part with items. I have seen this happen and again and again and again, and every single one of my clients receives results within 30 days. So take a quick peek into that pantry. And look, if you are somebody who has a very large pantry, I live in New York City, so we don't actually have pantries. I have a cabinet that I've turned into a pantry. But if you're somebody who has a relatively large pantry, you don't have to tackle the entire pantry. You can go one shelf, one box, one bin, one category of products at a time, and simply don't overthink it. Simply get rid of things that have expired. If you want to level up just a little bit, you can also get rid of items that you and your family do not eat. You don't have to throw those out. You can also donate them to a local food pantry. Now, the next item is dying to be recycled. Get rid of your old magazines. Those monthly subscriptions of Good Housekeeping or whatnot from 5 years ago pile up. The chances of you needing them are slim to none. And if there is something seriously of value, rip out the page and recycle the rest. Again, this is something that take a stack of magazines, and this is something that will not take you longer than 5 to 15 minutes. And if you encounter a magazine and you're like, I didn't even know I had this, maybe I should keep it. Ooh, right? You're so excited to find it. Let me shift your mindset a little bit. If you have not missed this magazine in the last year or two, chances are you can live without it. And another thing that tends to work for a lot of my clients is ask yourself, is this something, if I needed, this answer or this recipe or whatever it is, can I look it up online, right? And if the answer is yes, let it go. Okay, for this item, you want to head over to your closet. Do it now, and I will wait. And feel free, if something like, as I'm going through these 24 items, if something strikes you and you're like, oh my goodness, Margo, I definitely have a ton of this stuff, just go ahead, walk over to that space and just purge. Approach your closet. And this is such an easy, quick win. And this is something, this next one, number 3, will literally take you no more than 30 seconds. Get rid of your broken hangers. Why are you still holding on to them? In case of an emergency? I don't know. Your clothing won't stay on it anyways. It's just frustration waiting to happen. Save yourself the headache. If you have hangers in your closet that are broken, that your clothes doesn't stay on, like if you're not using those hangers and you're holding on to them for just in case, that just in case moment is probably not going to come. Let them go. And by the way, as a side note, I am a huge promoter of velvet hangers over plastic hangers. They take up less space in your closet and they tend to be non-slip. While you're still in the closet, let's tackle number 4. You want to do a quick search of your sock drawer. If it does not have a pair, don't wait for it to appear. It probably will not. Toss the old socks and the ones that don't have a buddy to hang out with. One of the most amazing wins is like decluttering a sock or an underwear drawer, because it's just kind of so easy to just, okay, this doesn't have a pair, or, underwear, I haven't worn this in a while, or it doesn't fit me right, or it has holes in it, whatever, right? And we just let it go. Again, invest no more than 5 to 15 minutes. Go through your sock drawer. This next one I used to hold on to for no reason at all, and it is declutter the burned out candles and lids. I can't tell you how many times I held on to burnt out candles as if they were decorative pieces. I don't know. Am I the only one that does this? Where you'll have a candle and maybe you love the candle. It smelled really nice. But now that's it. You've used it up, but yet you leave the jar on your shelf or your coffee table, even though practically and functionally it does not serve a purpose. Declutter them. The next few items are a collection of all things beauty. Go through dried up nail polishes. You can also go through your eyeshadows, right? Those palettes. Go through your makeup. If you do not wear a particular palette, or maybe I tend to buy, those palettes that have a bunch of different colors, but let's say it comes with 9 colors, and out of the 9 colors, I will only use 2. Why are we holding on to the rest? You know that you're not going to wear the other 7 eyeshadow palette colors. Why are you holding on to it? Let it go. And lastly, within our makeup and stuff and our beauty products, get rid of your dried up mascara. Have you ever had that moment where you have a mascara that's already dry? Whenever you wear it, it's literally things are falling into your eyes and it's okay, the dry mascara, can't use it anymore. And then you buy a new one, but for some strange reason, you still hold on to the old one for just in case. Lo and behold, you have 5 or 6 dried up mascara tubes for just in case, yet you keep buying new ones. Just a gentle reminder to declutter your mascara. Now, moving on to item number 9. Okay, this one might be tough. Okay, this one might be challenging. You might resist me. You might say, Margo, I'm not listening to any more of your podcast episodes. Okay, here it goes. How many mugs do you actually need? Typically, we do about 2 per member in the household. Now, my question to you is, how many do you currently have? Be honest. Let me know. How many mugs are currently sitting in your cabinet? I don't know. I find that mugs are, they're just one of those things where we're attracted to them. You're in a store like Home Goods and you're looking around and you find that perfect mug and you're like, oh my God, I need to bring you home with me. Or maybe, now is the fall and you find one that has pumpkins on it or is Halloween themed. And lo and behold, you come home and there are probably 15 to 20 mugs sitting in your cabinet. Leave your favorites. Maybe leave a couple of extra for when, family and friends come over. But again, how many do you really need? You might want to consider taking it slow. I want to celebrate even if you walk over to your cabinet right now and you just get rid of 1 mug. I'm going to celebrate that. I think that that's absolutely fantastic. So I am not saying that you just go atomic and get rid of most of them, but if you can just let go of 1 unused mug at a time, your cabinet will thank you for it. And as we're talking about some of these very simple things that we can declutter in 5 to 15 minutes, just so you know, I host a live body doubling workshop every 2 weeks. And what we do there is you literally show up live. I am there to host. I am there to body double for you. You show up live with a category of items or a drawer or a cabinet that you want to declutter. And we literally, in a small group of incredibly supportive women, we will declutter live. I set a timer for 15 minutes and we just chit chat and share. Some of us have our videos on so we can literally see the person in action. You don't have to, of course. And we declutter together. And body doubling is so effective. Body doubling is simply just the presence of somebody else being there, right? If you're just like, okay, I'm going to be decluttering and somebody's there, they're not necessarily helping you, but just the fact that you have somebody there present to keep you accountable, your success rate goes up. Every single woman who shows up to these free body doubling workshops produces results. It's a beautiful thing. We share, we laugh. You have the ability to also ask me questions as a decluttering coach. So it's just a beautiful, fun time. It's only 30 minutes long. And if you want more information or you want to register for the free bi-weekly workshop, you can check out information in the show notes. Moving on to item number 10, while amidst the kitchen, go through your Tupperware. It's funny because as I'm recording this podcast episode, I'm like, wait a second, Margo, when was the last time you went through your Tupperware? I probably have to revisit that again. So if it's got no lid and it looks past its prime, the kind of container you gift to your kids to do with as they please, they can be kissed goodbye. I also do want to share that I used to have a lot of plastic containers. And number one, I found that they're not really long lasting and durable. Not only that, it's really hard to get especially if you don't have a dishwasher, which I do not, they're hard to clean. Ever since I invested in glass containers, they're higher quality. They are a little bit of an investment, but they have lasted for years and they're so easy to clean and they don't look chaotic in my cabinet because they are stackable. So again, I'm just sharing what works for me. All right, moving on. Number 11. Next is chipped or broken dishes. I know you love that beautiful china, but if it's broken and you never put it out, why keep it? And I know that it's very hard to let go of it, especially if maybe it was a gift from somebody that you love. Again, I'm not encouraging you to part with anything that has sentimental value. But if you're keeping it because the hope is to one day use it and you're not using it, or it's damaged or broken and you're not going to use it, maybe consider letting it go. Or if you have extra dishes that you never use, maybe consider donating it. And this can benefit a family in need. This next item might have sentimental value and probably a ton of grease on it. There was a time when it was a trend to display cookbooks on your countertops. Cookbooks, most of us only kept for aesthetic reasons and never actually opened. Now look, if you are someone who has, a collection of cookbooks that you use, that you love, absolutely keep it. Don't let it go. You love them, they're practical, you use them. But if you are someone who has just collected a ton of cookbooks and you get most of your recipes on YouTube, it's time to let the cookbooks go. All right, number 13, go through your cleaning supplies. Sometimes we buy stuff and it doesn't actually work for our home, so we dump it into that junk drawer underneath our kitchen sink and try to forget about it. It's there. It's there, right? How many cleaning supplies, or if maybe you're like me, have you ever encountered items where you used up a bottle of something and then because it's habitual, you put it back underneath your sink, but the bottle is empty? I will declutter underneath my kitchen sink and go through the cleaning supplies and microfiber cloths and other sponges and such. I will do this every 3 months. So this is just a reminder for you to go through your cleaning supplies. Next up are beauty and hair products. Now, I know you spent a ton on that facial cream that makes you itchy. Maybe one day it won't. Guess what? That day won't come. The hairspray that you bought or gel or those many bottles of dry shampoo that continue to keep your hair looking oily, they've got to go. We as women have this attachment to beauty and hair products, especially a lot of my clients, they'll purchase a very expensive lotion, but the lotion's not good for their skin. They never use it, and it literally sits in their product drawer and is a constant reminder of how much money you have wasted on this product that does not suit your skin. Let it go. That product should not make you feel bad every single time you do your skin self-care routine. Next, if you have this, go through your craft supplies. I personally do not indulge, but I do have several clients whose craft spaces get out of hand. So go through your stuff and only keep what you need and what you use. Craft supplies also, while I'm not big on any kind of like crazy organization, I'm very big on like use what you own, have less so it's easier to organize. But when it comes to craft supplies, if you are using an abundance of things, it's best to organize them in some way. And you don't even have to go like fancy. You can use Amazon boxes or like even plastic bins or whatnot that you have around your home. This next category of items, we are leveling up just a little bit. So I find that, items 1 through 16 tend to be easy tosses. They're not highly emotionally driven, maybe other than like the dishes and such. But moving on, this again, we're elevating just a little bit. So if you're going to declutter some of these items, I encourage you to start simpler first, like with your pantry or expired items, and then kind of move on to some of the next few. So number 17 is clothing that does not fit. Now is the time to unburden yourself from the wardrobe gear you bought 5 years ago, the jeans that are 2 sizes too small, and the shirts that don't flatter you at all. You want to only wear feel good clothing. You deserve to feel good in the stuff that you wear. You do not want to have a closet full of clothing that shames you or reminds you of the life that you used to have, or some of these items we hold on to for a future self. Your wardrobe, your closet should cater to you and your lifestyle. Your closet should have things that you wear most frequently. So if you're somebody that wears a lot of lounge gear, that should be 80% of your wardrobe. And by the way, I have an entire course on how to declutter and organize your closet from A to Z. I even teach you how to create a capsule wardrobe. I started off by capsule wardrobing. This is how I was able to transition to become a wardrobe minimalist. And I will leave a link to it in the show notes. Number 18 are outgrown kids' toys. And I know that these can be tough. It's best if your kids are on board with it. So decluttering your kids' toys with them is a wonderful learning opportunity. I started decluttering with my daughter when she was very young. She was probably about 3 or 4 years old. Obviously, she didn't understand a lot of what was going on. But we started little by little where it's like, okay, baby, you're no longer playing with this toy. You haven't played with this toy. I also think that the holidays like Christmas, if you celebrate, are a great time right after Christmas to sit with your little one and declutter because they're very excited about the new toys that they receive. So they're going to be more likely to be able to part with some of their older toys that they haven't played with. But what a beautiful learning opportunity. Me and my daughter, every time around the holidays, will also declutter her toys. She knows that we will be donating these toys. In addition, we also buy some new toys for the holidays. We donate, and we have now been doing this for a very long time, to the point where she's actually about to turn 10 years old next week. Oh my goodness, my baby's growing up so fast. She now declutters on her own, and it's just such a beautiful habit that she has built. Number 19, very tedious, paperwork, bills, taxes, etc. When you are decluttering paperwork, always double check with your accountant for what you need to keep and for how long. But take a few minutes. You don't have to do a lot. I find that decluttering paperwork can be incredibly tedious and boring and overwhelming, and it's kind of hard to sit through an hour or 2 hours of decluttering. My recommendation is just take a small stack of papers, go through them, and continue to do that little by little. Next is workout equipment. See, this one is kind of tough because you probably spent a ton of money on it and it's currently staring at you in the bedroom crying, "Why don't you love and use me?" And the reason for that is because, exercise sucks, right? Also, as a side note, never keep your exercise gear in the bedroom. It's actually distracting and can be impacting the quality of your sleep. So you want to evaluate whether or not you will ever use it, or maybe simply watching a Zumba YouTube video is more for you. Then sell the exercise equipment on either Facebook Marketplace or eBay. Next is old textbooks. And I think 22 and 23, we have old textbooks and just books in general. There is something about old textbooks because it is nostalgic or we spent a ton of money on it. Chances are you have textbooks that have been there for the last 15, 20, 30 years. I assure you they're probably outdated. And again, unless you need them for like your current business or job, it might be time to let them go. Same applies to books. Now, with that said, I just want to be very clear about books. If you read them, if you love them, if you're proud of the book library that you have, if your books are organized, keep them, right? Declutter the books that you don't need, declutter the books that you didn't like. You can donate them, you can put them outside of your house and label them free, you can recycle them, whatever you want to do. But if you are somebody who loves and values a book collection, then keep them. I'm being incredibly subjective here, by the way. I have probably, I want to say almost 1,000 books in my collection. One of the walls in my living room is actually floor to ceiling with books. It is my pride and joy. My books are meticulously organized by genre, paperback and hardcover, and by author. One of the proudest moments of my life was when I published my first book, and I was able to take my book and put it on my bookshelf. So with that said, if you are an avid reader, if you're somebody who goes back to your library and rereads the books, you don't have to declutter them. But if you have kind of books all over the place or maybe in boxes and you know you're not going to read them, invest a few minutes and declutter what you can. Number 23 is probably going to date me a little bit, and it is to declutter your CDs and your DVDs, okay? If you still have them, or maybe you still have VHS tapes, it's time to let them go. Although maybe you want to hold on to like one or two for, I don't know, to like show your kids or your grandkids like, hey, this is how we watch stuff before like social media and apps and all that fun stuff. And then finally, take a good look at those kitchen appliances. Girl, that bullet that someone gifted you for Christmas, the one that's still in a box because you're waiting for the inspiration to make some kale smoothies, keep it real. Do you really need all those kitchen appliances that you have nowhere to put? Probably not. All right, so those are 24 items that you can declutter before the new year. As always, thank you so much for listening. Good luck on your decluttering journey, and remember to be good to yourself.